Picture this for a second. Let's say someone comes up to you and offers you unlimited wealth, widespread fame, tremendous power, and a prestigious guaranteed job for life. You've got that image in your head? Okay, now imagine just calmly looking at them and replying, "No, thank you. I prefer peace of mind." It sounds absolutely impossible to us today, doesn't it? Like, who would actually say that? But one man literally lived his entire life this way. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Would you sacrifice the money, the status, and the approval of literally everyone around you just to protect your own inner peace? Today we're constantly trading away our peace of mind just to gain a little bit of approval from others. But the guy we are talking about today, he completely flipped that script. He happily sacrificed approval to protect his peace. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are unpacking the fascinating life and mind of Baruch Spinoza. This is a thinker who was totally misunderstood for centuries, completely rejected by his own community, yet later praised by absolute geniuses like Albert Einstein. And honestly, his ideas are now being unknowingly echoed by modern neuroscientists everywhere. We're going to explore his 350-year-old secrets, his geometry of inner freedom, and how his groundbreaking ideas are pretty much the ultimate antidote to the anxiety and stress of our incredibly chaotic modern world. Part 1, The Rebel Philosopher. Okay, so to really get the ideas, we first have to understand the man himself. Spinoza was, in every single sense of the word, a rebel. Not because he was out there trying to cause trouble, but because he was just relentlessly searching for the truth. He was born in Amsterdam back in 1632 to a Jewish family fleeing persecution. But man, from a very early age, he started asking some really dangerous questions. Things like, what if we've completely misunderstood God? Or what if reality is actually far more beautiful than we imagine? By the time he was just 23 years old, 23, he received one of the harshest excommunications in recorded history. I mean, he was permanently expelled. His friends stopped speaking to him, his family abandoned him, and people in his community were literally forbidden from even talking to him. He lost his whole social world just for asking questions. He lived a very simple life and passed away young at 44, but he left behind a legacy that changed philosophy forever. So you might be wondering, how does a guy even survive after being completely exiled like that? Well, he made a super humble living grinding optical lenses. It was just a simple day job, but the symbolism here is it's beautiful. Think about it. Every single day, he's physically polishing lenses to help people see the external world more clearly. And then, at night, he's polishing these massive philosophical ideas to help humanity see our inner world more clearly. Part 2, The Geometry of Reality. Which brings us to his absolute masterpiece. It's a book simply titled Ethics. But listen, do not let that title fool you. It is definitely not just a book about morality. It's really more like a complete owner's manual for the human mind. And he wrote it in the craziest way. He completely avoided emotional arguments or flowery metaphors. Instead, he used logical definitions, clear propositions, and literal mathematical proofs. He structured his deep thoughts about human emotions exactly like a geometry textbook. Why? Because Spinoza fundamentally believed that truth shouldn't depend on shifting opinions or who shouts the loudest. It should be objectively discovered, just like math. And through all that strict mathematical logic, he arrived at his most revolutionary paradigm shift, this concept of God or nature. He argued that everything in the universe, the stars in the sky, the animals, your random thoughts, and yes, even your most chaotic emotions, they are all interconnected expressions of one single infinite reality. We're a part of nature, and if we're a part of nature, that means our emotions have to follow natural laws. And hey, anything that follows a law can be understood. And the best part, anything that can be understood can actually be transformed. Part 3, Understanding Our Emotions. Now, Spinoza believes something totally radical for his time. Our emotional suffering doesn't actually come from the events happening around us. It comes entirely from our misunderstanding of reality. Okay, picture this. Imagine a massive traffic jam. You've got two different people sitting in the exact same line of stopped cars. Driver number one, absolutely furious, hitting the steering wheel, completely trapped and miserable. Driver number two is just happily listening to a great playlist, entirely at peace. It's the exact same external event, but a completely different internal understanding. Modern psychology calls this cognitive appraisal, but Spinoza hit the nail on the head centuries ago. External events don't imprison us, our interpretations of them do. To take this a step further, Spinoza basically split our emotional world into two categories: passive and active emotions. Passive emotions are the ones that happen to us. Think sudden fear, blinding jealousy, road rage, when someone insults you and you just immediately explode. You're basically acting like a puppet, where someone else is yanking the strings. Active emotions, on the other hand, well, they arise from wisdom and true understanding. Instead of just blindly reacting, you consciously respond, maybe with courage or compassion. And modern neuroscience totally backs this up. When you just react, your primitive survival brain is driving. But when you pause to understand, your higher reasoning takes the wheel. I absolutely love this modern analogy for his work. You know that feeling when your phone battery hits 1%? Suddenly, everything feels like your enemy, right? The slow internet, the tangled charging cable. Actually, scratch that. Even gravity feels like a personal attack when your phone is dying. But once you plug it in and charge it up, you're instantly smiling again. The external world didn't change one bit. Your internal state did. So the next time you're feeling incredibly frustrated, just remember, you've got to charge your understanding before you charge your anger. Part 4. The illusion of free will. All right, brace yourself, because this brings us to what might be his most controversial idea of all. Humans aren't quite as free as we like to think we are. I know. Does that mean we're all just mindless robots? Not exactly. But Spinoza believed every single decision you make has hidden causes pushing it forward. Think about your childhood environment, your unconscious habits, your biology, your deeply held beliefs, and all your past experiences. It's really like a giant line of falling dominoes. Every single behavior happens because another completely hidden factor pushed it over. But here is the brilliant twist. Realizing that you are part of this massive chain of dominoes is actually the very thing that sets you free. Knowledge creates freedom, while ignorance creates slavery. Let's say you're driving a car, but you have no idea how the steering wheel or the brakes actually work. You aren't free, right? You're just dangerous. But the more aware you become of those unconscious habits and all those hidden causes, the more you actually get to sit firmly in the driver's seat of your own life. When you really look at it, Spinoza serves as this incredible bridge across all of human thought. I mean, Stoicism tells us to focus only on what we can control. Buddhism teaches us that our attachment is what creates suffering. Modern neuroscience proves that awareness builds emotional resilience. And Spinoza, hundreds of years ago, he used pure reason to connect all of these truths together. He observed human nature so carefully that he anticipated exactly what brain scanners would prove centuries later. It's just wild. Part 5. The Spinoza Method. Okay, so how do we actually apply the genius of this rebel philosopher to our own stressful, notification-heavy lives right now? Let's walk through 5 actionable steps. Think of this as your personal Spinoza toolkit for whenever a painful emotion hits you. Step 1. Pause. Just create 10 seconds of space so you don't react on autopilot. Step 2. Name the emotion, but as an observer. Don't say, "I am angry," say, "I notice anger." You're the observer, not the emotion itself. Step 3. Find the cause. Ask yourself, what unmet expectation actually created this feeling? Step 4. Expand your perspective. Zoom way out. Look at this problem from 10 years in the future. Is it really going to matter? And finally, step 5. Choose an active response. Don't just do what you feel like doing. Ask yourself what wisdom would choose to do. Simply running through these 5 steps can totally transform emotional chaos into pure, grounded clarity. Remember how Spinoza spent his entire life polishing lenses? Well, that gives us the perfect metaphor to wrap this up. Imagine your mind is a mirror. When it's covered in a thick layer of dust, everything you look at appears totally distorted and ugly. Now, when that happens, you don't go around trying to clean the whole world, do you? No, you clean the mirror. You don't always need to force reality to change. Sometimes you simply need to polish your understanding of it. We live in a world that is so obsessed with control, outrage, and just constant distraction. But Spinoza reminds us that true control, it's understanding. The person who truly understands their own emotions literally cannot be manipulated. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on today. Is your life truly guided by your own deep understanding, or are you still just being pushed around by the dominoes of your uncautious emotions?